Can one night change a life forever? A gunshot was heard, then another shot. A man ran into the woods. He did not look back. Catch him, someone shouted. He ran faster. The night swallowed him. Another shot was heard, a final blast. Someone wants Damian Okoye gone, but why? Damian Okoye was loved by everybody. He built a big tech company with his hands. People called him the beloved king. Damian had a small circle of people around him. He trusted them like family. First, there was Kunle, his older brother. Kunle was kind and smart. He always gave Damian advice. They laughed a lot. Everyone said they were the perfect brothers. Then there was Chioma, Damian's fiancée. She was very beautiful. They looked so in love. They looked so happy together. People said they were made for each other. Next was Tenny, Damian's cousin. Tenny helped Damian run his businesses. She was always smiling and laughing. Damian trusted her too. There was also Barrister Enito, Damian's lawyer. He wore big glasses and always carried a brown folder. He helped Damian sign big deals and protect the company. And lastly, there was Dapo, the new intern. Dapo worked under Enito's team. He was young and eager to impress, but he was very clumsy and loved to talk too much. Days before the party, Damian found an old letter in his late father's desk. It hinted at a secret I kept for 20 years. Confused and curious, opened the letter and read it. One night during a big party for a successful close deal, the lights were soft. Everyone was happy and laughing. Across the room, Damian saw Chioma laughing too loudly at her phone. He smiled, but a small crack of doubt flickered inside him. Maybe I am imagining things, he thought. She's just excited. Kunle stood up and walked to Damian. He held the document in his hand. He smiled and said, I need you to sign here as my witness. It's nothing big, brother. It's just a small personal business. Damian laughed. Ha, Kunle, must we do business now? Everyone laughed too. Kunle chuckled and said, It's nothing, I promise. Just one signature to help me. Damian was drunk and tipsy. He did not read the document. He took the pen and signed fast. The next morning, Damian woke up in his big room. The sun was bright. He sat on the bed for a long time, thinking. He remembered the night before, the party, the laughs, the hugs, and then he remembered the paper Kunle gave him. Damian frowned. He was a little drunk that night. He signed without reading. But now something small, something strange flashed in his mind. I think I saw a line. Damian whispered to himself. Something about missing days and power. He was not sure. His head was not clear that night. But his heart felt heavy now. He knew one thing for sure. He needed to fix it. Quietly. Fast. He picked up his phone and called Barrister Enito. Come to my house. Bring your secret files, Damian said, and bring a fresh folder. 1 hour later, Enito stood in Damian's study, holding a brown folder. Damian looked straight at him and said, I need 2 things. First, Damian said, his voice very low, file a mirror document, secretly. If anything happens because of the first paper I signed, this secret one will save me. Enito's eyes widened a little. He nodded. No questions, no delay. Second, Damian continued, prepare new papers for my charity project. I want to build a school and hospital in a small village. No news, no noise. I want it quiet and fast. Enito smiled gently and said, Yes, sir. That same afternoon, Damian signed the secret mirror document and hid it in a safe place. At the same time, the charity project papers were being prepared quietly. Only Damian and Enito knew about the secret mirror document. Dapo, the intern, only helped with small charity papers. He did not know anything important. After that, Damian became more careful. He made the security stronger. He hired more bodyguards. He put stronger cameras around his house. He kept his travel plans a secret from everyone. Damian smiled to himself. He knew he was ready for anything. No king stays beloved without protecting his throne, he thought. Not a single word. Days later, Damian planned a secret charity trip to a small village. Only the legal team intern and Barrister Enito knows. Before Damian left, he stayed with Chioma. He even kissed her goodbye and spent the night with her. But he did not tell her anything about the trip he was planning to take the next day. The next morning, he drove to the village road with his 5 bodyguards. At the village thick forest, it was too quiet. Suddenly, bang! Gunshots filled the air. Many men with guns jumped out. There were too many, much more than the bodyguards. Night fell as the fight continued. During the battle to save their boss, the bodyguards were outnumbered. Damian's driver shouted, "Run, sir! Run!" Damian ran into thick forest. The rain poured down hard. Suddenly, a snake bit him. The forest mud swallowed him. Both the guards and the hitmen tried to follow Damian, but they lost him. Adaeze was a poor orphan girl that sells corn. She had no mother or father. Her mother died from a strange sickness when she was just 5 years old, and her father died in an accident. Since that day, she lived with her aging grandmother. Every morning, she picked corn deep in the forest, hoping to sell enough so they could have something to eat. She was in the forest that day, picking corn to sell, trying to find food for her and her grandma. As Adaeze walked under the trees, she saw a man lying in the mud. She dropped her basket fast. She ran to him, shook his shoulder. "Sir, sir, wake up, please." No answer. His body was cold, but he was breathing. She touched his head and he has fever. She scanned his body and saw the snake bite. Immediately, she used the stun cloth to tighten the spot. Luckily, it was not a deadly snake. The bite was painful but not fatal. Adaeze's quick thinking helped slow the poison, giving him more time to survive. Adaeze looked around. No one was there. She dragged him slowly to her secret cave, the place she always slept in the cave when harvesting deep in the forest. No villagers ever came that far. It was her secret ward, and now it was Damian's hiding place too. Adaeze quickly rushed to the river to get some water. Inside the cave, she cleaned his forehead with river water. She crushed bitter leaves and dabbed it on the snake bite she saw on his leg. She found another scratch on his arm and wiped it softly with water. She covered them with her only blanket. She whispered, "Please stay alive." The bad men called their boss. "We lost him, boss," they said. The voice on the phone told them, "Retreat. We will wait for the right time to strike again." Before retreating, the hitmen planted a torn piece of cloth soaked with blood and scattered Damian's broken watch near the forest to make it look like he was dead. After that, they left. Damian heard security and the other guards searched everywhere. They called Damian's name. They searched day and night, but they found nothing. Tired and scared, Big Mike rushed back to the city. He went straight to Kunle and said, "Sir, we lost him. We cannot find him." Kunle looked shocked. He held his head and shouted, "We must call the police." The police went into the forest to search. All they saw was blood on the ground, a torn shirt with blood, a wristwatch. One officer shook his head. "He is dead," he said. "Look at the blood." They killed him and took the body. Another officer stepped forward slowly. "No," he said. "There is no drag mark, no footprints, no struggle." He looked around. "I think he is missing, or someone took him alive." The police wrote in their report, "We found blood, his clothes and wristwatch in the forest. No body. We suspect he was either killed and taken away or kidnapped." Soon, the news broke. Billionaire Damian Okoye missing, presumed dead. People cried. The stock market crashed. Chioma, his fiancé, cried loudly on camera, but secretly texted, "I am free now," and cheated on Damian with her old boyfriend. Tenny rushed to sell small company shares behind closed doors, laughing to herself. A dead man's money is free money. Barrister Eniton sat at his desk, staring at legal papers, wondering if he should say something. Dapo gossiped around the office, spreading panic with every word he said. Maybe Damian is really gone. Maybe the company is finished. And Kunle sat alone devastated, waiting to speak on stage. Kunle stood on the big stage. He wore black clothes. His eyes were red like he had been crying. He said, "Damian was not just my brother. He was my heart." People clapped. They believed in him. Slowly, Kunle began to lead Damian's company. Meetings were held. Papers were signed. He smiled kindly to the cameras. Everyone said, "He is doing it for Damian." The police sent a special man, Inspector Bello. He wore a brown coat and carried a small notebook. He looked calm but sharp. Bello watched everything quietly. Secretly, Inspector Bello had been gathering whispers, money trails, and silent witnesses. He quietly questioned Shioma's old boyfriend. traced hidden bank transfers linked to Tenny, and watched Kule's sudden meeting with secret lawyers. But he had no hard proof yet, only whispers. He was waiting for the snakes to move and catch them red-handed. He felt something was wrong, but he said nothing yet. Inside the cave, Adaeze kept taking care of Damian. He opened his eyes slowly. He was awake for the first time. Adaeze looked at him and asked, "Who are you?" He paused, then lied. "I am just a hunter from a very faraway village." He was weak, barely able to sit up. "How did you help me?" he asked softly. Adaeze replied, "I was harvesting corn when I saw you lying in the mud. So I helped you. I am a corn seller." She gave him water, fed him fruits, and sat beside him all night, whispering hope into his fevered ears. "You will be fine. You are strong," she said. She believes Damian has to recover fully before going to his village. Adaeze goes to her village to sell corn, check on her grandma, and also bring clothes, food, and herbs for Damian. One afternoon, Big Mike walked deep into the forest. Big Mike did not give up on his boss. He kept searching. He also firmly ordered the other guards to stay near the base camp, saying, "If police or attackers come, you must be ready. Don't leave the spot unless I call you." The guards obeyed, unaware of his real plan. He went to search for his boss alone, and he did not give up on him, because deep inside he had a feeling Damian was still alive. So he searched alone thoroughly. He was so tired searching, then sat down feeling down. Suddenly, he saw thin smoke. He followed it carefully. Big Mike found Adaeze's cave. He saw Damian. Inside the small cave, the fire crackled softly. Big Mike knelt beside Damian. He was in shock and full of happiness at the same time, his face full of relief. "Boss," Big Mike said, breathing fast, "the whole world thinks you're dead." Big Mike swallowed hard and said, "The news, everywhere. They are saying you disappeared, maybe even killed." Damian said nothing. He's just staring at Big Mike. Big Mike continued, "Kunle, he's crying. He's in charge of the company, and he's telling everyone he will keep your dream alive." Damian's face stayed calm. "And now," Big Mike said, "the police sent a man called Inspector Billo. He is leading the case." Damian sat quietly for a moment. Then he leaned closer to Big Mike and said in a low, firm voice, "Listen carefully." Big Mike nodded quickly. "I was already planning a way to contact you," Damian said. "From today, you must not tell anyone you found me. Not until we catch the person who did this to me. And we will, very soon." Big Mike blinked. "Not even the other guards, sir?" Damian shook his head. "Nobody. Not the guards. Not the lawyers. Not even Kunle." Big Mike's mouth opened, but no word came out. Damian's voice dropped even lower. "Until the investigation is over, I am still missing." Big Mike nodded slowly, his face serious now. "I understand, boss. I swear." Damian gave a small tired smile. "Good," he said. We moved in silence. As Adaeze was coming from her village, from outside the cave, she peeked in carefully. She saw Big Mike talking to Damian. He wore dark jacket and moved quickly, like they were hiding something. Adaeze's heart beat faster. She had never seen men like that in the forest before. She hugged herself and whispered, "Who are they? What is happening?" But she stayed quiet, even though her heart was full of questions. Big Mike sneaked in quietly, a clean black suit, some foods and medications to keep him healthy. He gave him everything and one last thing, a small paper with Inspector Bello's secret phone number and a burner phone. Big Mike whispered, "It is Inspector Bello's number, the one leading the investigation." Damian stared at the number for a second. Then he looked up at Big Mike. "Is he a good man?" Damian asked softly. Big Mike nodded fast. "Yes, boss. I have done my research on him. He is tough, but he hates lies. He really wants to find the truth." Damian nodded slowly. "Good," he said. "Then maybe we can work together." He tucked the number safely into his pocket. His mind was already racing with new plans. Damian's voice was strong now. He said, "We stay hidden, we plan." After the men left the cave, Damian sat quietly. Suddenly, a memory returned. The document Kule gave him to sign at the party. He smiled. His words, just a small business. Damian closed his eyes. Then he saw it, a line on the paper. His eyes opened wide. He whispered, "That night." Suddenly, Adaeze came inside the cave. She moved closer to Damian. She sat down beside him, her eyes full of worry. "Who is that man?" she asked. "Are you in trouble?" Damian smiled gently at her. He touched her hand lightly and said, "Don't worry. We are friends. They came to help." Adaeze nodded slowly, but deep inside, she still felt a small fear growing. She did not ask more. She just stayed close, hoping everything would be all right. Later that evening, Adaeze smiled and said, "Come, let's go to the waterfall. You need a real bath." Damian followed her slowly through the forest. They reached the hidden waterfall, shining under the moonlight. As they stepped into the cold water, it felt like peace washing over him. Adaeze stood nearby, gently splashing herself. Her laughter filled the air. As she turned, her hand brushed his chest by accident. They both froze. Their eyes met. The moment stretched. Adaeze looked down, her cheeks warm. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Damian shook his head. "Don't be." They stood in silence, water flowing around them, calm, quiet, and full of something unspoken. Then they snapped back to reality and quietly left the waterfall, heading back to the cave. That night, they sat side by the fire, eating the mangoes they picked. Adaeze pointed at the stars through a crack in the cave roof. "That one," she said, "is called the lion. It fights the darkness." Damian chuckled softly. "Maybe I am that lion," he said. Adaeze looked at him, not the way people in the city looked at him, not for his money, not for his crown, just kindness. Without thinking, Damian touched her hand lightly again. This time, Adaeze smiled and squeezed his hand back, very softly. And for the first time in a long, long time, Damian felt not fear, not loneliness, but peace as he slept beside her. Real peace. The next day, after Adaeze left for her village to grandma, Damian sent a secret message to Inspector Bello. "This is Damian. I want you to know I am alive, hiding somewhere safe, and I've got a plan to catch the one trying to kill me." Inspector Bello stared at the message, stunned. After a long pause, he replied, "We need to talk about the plan." Damian explained everything. When he finished, Inspector Bello's response came quickly. "Move carefully. The snakes are close." They made a plan. Simple, clean, and deadly. No one must guess it. 2 days later, big news exploded across TV and phones. Damian Okoye sighted at airport. The city went crazy. Crowds rushed to the airport. People shouted, "He is alive! Where is he?" In the middle of the crowd, a man in black sunglasses and a hat walked slowly. He limped a little and he looked tired. The crowd pointed. Fingers pointed. Phones clicked. All eyes were on him. The boss has signaled the hitman to make a move on Damian, as they are lucky there is no security with him. Across the street, 2 hitmen watched from a black car. One grabbed his phone. "Target spotted. No guards. Move now." They jumped out, fast. Their coat covered hidden guns. Step by step, they moved closer. Damian kept walking, slow, limping, looking helpless. The hitman made sure he's at a very quiet place, along, and the hitman smiled. "Easy kill." One pulled out a cloak. The other gripped a gun under his jacket. They were just a few steps away now. But sirens exploded. Black vans rolled in. Tires screeched. Men in black masks jumped out. "Freeze!" The hitmen froze. Then they ran, fast. The chase had begun. The hitman ran hard. They pushed people aside. They knocked over chairs. They did not look back. One pulled his gun. Bang, bang. Shot cracked through the air. Police fired back. Another shot. Crowd screamed louder. The hitmen dove into a narrow alley. One jumped a fence. The other kicked a trash can down to block the way. But the police were faster. One officer tackled the first hitman. Slam! The man hit the ground hard. The second hitman fired again, but 4 police surrounded him fast. "Drop it!" He dropped the gun. Hands up! Face down! They cuffed him. At the police station, the two hitmen sat tied to metal chairs. Their faces were bruised. Their hands were bleeding. One officer threw cold water on them. Talk! He barked. The first hitman spat on the floor. The second cursed under his breath. They were still fighting. An officer stepped closer. He pulled the first man's head back roughly. Who sent you? No answer. The second officer slammed a tick further down. Bam! The sound echoed in the small room. Still there is no words. Only angry breathing. Then the officers made the next move. They shoved the chairs back hard. The hitmen hit the wall behind them. One gasped in pain. The other cursed again, but weaker this time. Finally, the first hitman's head dropped. He whispered, shaking, Boss Kunle, he sent us to kill Damian the first time in the bush, but it was not successful. Everyone froze. The second hitman broke too. He told us to finish the job if we ever saw Damian alive. Their voices were broken now. The fear had eaten them alive. Inspector Bello stood at the door. He nodded once, recalled everything. The real snake has been named. The trap was complete. Damian sat inside the small cave. The fire was almost out. His phone buzzed softly. It was a message from Inspector Bello. Kunle betrayed you. The hitman has confessed. Damian stared at the screen. His chest felt tight. He closed his eyes. He wished it was not true. He prayed it was a mistake. Kunle, my brother, he whispered. He remembered the document he had signed at the party. The small line he did not read properly. The line that said, if Damian Okoye disappears for 14 days, full control goes to Kunle Okoye. Damian's hand shook a little. He wanted to believe Kunle had no bad plans. He wanted to trust him. But now, the truth was standing in front of him. And it hurt more than any bullet. A small knock came at the cave door. Big Mike, his bodyguard, stepped inside. He held a neat black suit in a bag. Mike said softly, Sir, it is time. Damian stood up slowly. His heart felt heavy. He opened the bag and touched the suit. It felt cold in his hands. He looked around the cave. Adeize was not there. She had left earlier to check on her grandma and sell some corns in the village. Damian smiled sadly. He wished he could see her one last time. He wanted to say thank you. He wanted to say goodbye, but he could not wait anymore. He changed into the black suit, button by button, tight shoes. He tucked a small mango Adeize had left into his pocket, a quiet memory to carry with him. Then, without any word, Damian stepped out into the cold grey morning. Two guards stood by the trees. They saluted quietly. Damian nodded once. A big meeting was called. Kunle, Chioma, Tenny, Dapo, Eniton, they all sat in the room. The big door opened. Damian Okoye walked in, alive, strong. The whole room froze. No one breathed. Damian sat at the head of the table. He placed a thick brown fowl on the table. He looked around. His voice was calm but sharp. Let's talk about loyalty. First, he turned to Chioma. He dropped photos in front of her. Photos of her laughing with another man, while Damian was missing. Damian said quietly, You cried in black for the cameras and danced in red for your secret lover. Chioma looked down, ashamed. Then Damian turned to Dapo. He pulled out a printed chat log, messages, jokes, loose talks. He said, Your careless mouth told the enemy where I was going. You handed them the map. Dapo covered his face. Tears rolled down his eyes. Next, Damian turned to Tenny. He threw out papers, bank records, stolen money trails. Damian's voice was cold. You were busy selling my company, piece by piece, while my body was still missing. Tenny swallowed hard. She had no excuse. Finally, Damian looked at Kunle. He opened a special folder, pulled out 2 documents. Damian said, You made me sign a paper saying if I disappeared for 14 days, everything would belong to you. Kunle's face stayed tight. Damian smiled sharply. But I am a businessman, Kunle. I filed a secret mirror paper to block your plan the very next morning. He dropped another photo on the table, a blurry airport picture. Damian's voice was cold. The man you chased at the airport was not me. I planted a fake Damian using a realistic face mask to flush out the snakes. The room was dead silent. Kunle's hand shook slightly. Damian was not finished. He pulled out one last envelope. Inside, a DNA test. Damian's voice dropped low. Before the party, I found something else. You are not my father's real son, and you've always knew. That kept the secret from me and hid it before he died, but I found it days before the party you pulled your stunt. Kunle's mask broke. He sank slowly into his chair. Broken, exposed, finished. Damian stood up, his voice strong. This is the end of betrayal. Kunle's face twisted with anger. He stood up fast. His chair crashed to the floor. He pointed at Damian, and his voice was sharp and bitter. You had everything. You were the golden sun, and I was just the shadow. His eyes burned with hate. He shouted, if I can't have the crown, then neither should you. Before anyone could speak, the door swung open. 2 police officers walked in. They moved fast, straight to Kunle. One officer grabbed his arm. The other snapped cold handcuffs on his wrist. Kunle struggled for a moment, then he stopped. He looked at Damian one last time, not with hate anymore, but with deep, broken sadness. The officers dragged him out of the room. The heavy door slammed shut behind them. Days later, justice came. One by one, they paid the price. Kunle went to jail for trying to kill his own brother and steal the company. Chioma lost her fame and respect. Her secrets were exposed. She ended up alone. Tenny was arrested for stealing money and selling company shares in secret. Dapo was fired. He lost his job because of his careless mouth. Barrister Enito didn't steal or lie, but he stayed silent when he should have spoken. So the law took his license. He could never practice again. Damian did not fight them with hate. He fought them with truth, and the truth was louder than any lie. In the small village, Adaeze sat quietly by the door of her grandmother's house. She hugged her knees closed. Her heart was heavy. Damian had left. No goodbye, no promise, just silence. Grandma sat nearby, weaving a basket. She looked at Adaeze and said softly, if someone is meant to find you, my child, they will find you. Adaeze nodded, but she did not believe it. She looked at the dusty road, empty, quiet. Suddenly, the sound of cars. Dust rose in the air. Adaeze jumped to her feet. Her heart raced. A black convoy rode in the village. Big black cars. Big men in suits. Everyone came out of their houses, whispering, who are they looking for? The car stopped in front of Grandma's house. The biggest car door opened slowly. And there he was, Damian, alive, strong, and smiling. Adaeze gasped. She stepped forward without thinking. Damian greeted Grandma, and then he walked toward her. Slowly and softly, he stopped right in front of her, and he took her hand gently. He looked into her eyes, and then with the softest touch, he kissed her. Adaeze closed her eyes. Tears rolled down her cheeks. The whole world disappeared. Only him, only her. And somewhere in her heart, she knew her story was only just beginning. Damian whispered against her forehead, I did not forget you. I never will. The villagers clapped quietly from afar, but Adaeze did not hear them. She only heard the beating of her own heart, strong and hopeful. And so, a billionaire who almost lost everything was saved by the love and kindness of a poor corn seller. She had nothing, but she gave everything. And those who had everything, they tried to take more until they lost it all. This story teaches us, never look down on the kindness of the poor. It can save a life. And never trust loyalty from the greedy. Because sometimes, the people you love the most are the ones sharpening the knife behind your back. And sometimes, the one with nothing in her pocket holds the key to your survival. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like the video, comment your favorite part, and subscribe for more powerful African stories.